Turn heads and bring the hype with a custom hype chain from Lotwin. Perfect for youth sports, fantasy football, or just flexing your pride. Go to Lotwin.com, use the promo code TCCPOD for 10% off your order. That's Lotwin.com, promo code TCCPOD for 10% off. Get your custom hype chain and get hype with Lotwin. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for December 29th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Victory Monday edition of the podcast. A rainy Victory Monday, but a Victory Monday nonetheless. Let's get right into it. Let's rewind the weekend like we do every Monday morning, brought to you by Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. It might be post-Christmas, but Philly Goat still has you covered. You probably got gift cards. You probably got cash. Grandma probably gave you a check. So go do some shopping at Philly Goat. You won't be disappointed. And don't forget that promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, so 13-12, Eagles beat the Bills, and it certainly was a tale of two halves, specifically for the offense. I liked the play calling in the first half. I really, really did. I thought it was somewhat creative. I thought they were moving the ball fairly well. They should have had probably more than the 13 points. But I think with the weather, everything going into it, they could have had more. But you'll take 13-0 at halftime, and then they got conservative. And I'm not really sure why. The play calling kind of reverted back to her. They ran the ball straight up the middle every time. Jalen Hurts couldn't get much going. You could say the players did not execute. You could say that the play calling didn't put them in position. I think both are 100% accurate and 100% true. But they did enough to win the game, and at this point of the season, that's really all that matters. And truthfully, with this offense, I think what you see is what you get. I think they will show glimpses and potential to be an explosive offense at times, but their identity is inconsistent. Here we are, 17 weeks into the season, and we're still seeing the same thing. But they do just enough against these good teams to win, and I think that is a skill, a knack, whatever you want to call it, that will bode well in the postseason. I will say that this is a championship-level defense. I don't think there's any way about it. They did a great job shutting down the Bills and Josh Allen. The only touchdown came late after, once again, the offense couldn't get them off the field. They held tight on the goal line stand. And I will say, for everybody that's putting this on, oh, the Eagles got lucky, Josh Allen should have hit that last throw. Yeah, the dude was open. But I think what you're forgetting to some of those people, the defense had good pressure on him. It wasn't like he was standing back there in a clean pocket and had all day to throw it and just missed it. He was pressured. He was running out of the pocket for his life. But good defensive win. I don't know if I'd have gone for two there, especially the way that their defense had momentum against our offense. But hey, it is what it is. You take the win. The Eagles are still in line for the 2 seed thanks to the 49ers beating the Bears last night. I don't get the play calling. That's my biggest thing. It's almost like they reverted back at all the momentum they had versus the Raiders and Commanders. Started off strong and then just went into a shell. But, I mean, part of that is the weather, but I don't know why. They were playing scared. They were playing not to turn the ball over, and you saw what happened. I mean, that offense looked absolutely terrible in the second half. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, well, Jalen Hurts. No, because Jalen didn't do much in the second half. They weren't running him. I don't know if that was by design. Um, but this is what we got. You're probably not going to see the starters on Sunday, nor should you. Have a mini bye week heading into the playoffs and just hope that the defense can continue to play at a high level and the offense can give you anything. But again, that was a good win, especially for the defense, man. Like Jalen Carter just is an absolute beast. I feel as though he could have gotten called for holding almost every play. I guess Jordan Davis ate up blockers so he could go in there, but he wreaked havoc, and it was good to see that. I feel as though uh, the refs continue to be a story. I'll never come on here and say the refs cost this game because I thought the refs were bad on both ends. But some of those pass interference, ticky tack, I don't know. The one on Q was just okay. Some of the overturns on catches, to me, it's bad when Dean Blandino is like ruling in the Eagles' favor, saying, I don't know what's happening here. But you do what you got to do with that. They were able to overcome it. But I think league wide, both sides, whatever you want to say, the refs just have not been good. They missed one. Devontae got blindsided at one point. No call. I don't know how you saw that ball move. And then the other one that the dude, forget his last name, 14 on the Bills, that one moved. I don't know. Just overall, a horrible game by them. But the Eagles do just enough to win. And that's really what it comes down to. And one thing that I kind of thought of and mentioned during the game, I don't know, the late hit that wasn't called on Jalen Hurts, he seemed like he was slow to get up. I don't know if that played a role in what happened in the second half or not. But they were moving the ball until that happened. So lots to fix heading into the postseason, but they're in a good position. They're going to host a playoff game, and I think the NFC playoffs are going to be wide open. I really do. I think whoever comes out of the NFC West, all three of those teams are going to be tough. I think the Panthers and Buccaneers could be sneaky tough. The Bears obviously already came into Philly, beat the Eagles. I'm not as concerned with the Packers. Micah Parsons being out really hurt them, and they might have a little bit of a quarterback controversy going on after the way Malik Willis played, but we'll take it. The only other note I have is, how is Cam Jurgens a Pro Bowler this year? I mean, not to pile on Cam, but past few weeks, he's not played well at all. Not at all. There was a couple times where he got blown up, missed blocks yesterday. It's like the second time, because even the long Saquon run against Washington was way more spectacular because Cam Jurgens missed a block. And I don't know if I see him being a Pro Bowler. Maybe the players and fans are seeing something I'm not, but again, lots to clean up. But we will take this win. 13-12. Eagles moved to 11 wins now for fourth straight year. Shot at winning 12 games again, and still to get that number 2 seed. I don't expect to see starters. I'm sure I didn't watch any of the press conferences like I always do. This is just raw, unfiltered notes that I took. But I'll look into that today. So maybe Sirianni addressed it. But if I know Sirianni, he probably said something along the lines of, we haven't gotten to that. We're enjoying this. We'll get back to work tomorrow and see where we're at. But a win is a win. I think this defense can take us, and this team is going to go as far as the offense is. I mean, if the defense is going to be giving up 7 to 16 points, the offense needs to score 8 to 17 points a game. And it comes down to, can they do it consistently? We'll see. I mean, if they play the way they played in the first half, why not? But I don't get the play calling. I don't know if it was, hey, this is essentially for us a meaningless game, so we'll just kind of pull it back and hope the defense can get it. I don't know. I didn't like it, but I'll have more on this tomorrow as I get a chance to break down everything. But 13-12 Eagles win. That was an entertaining 13-12 game too. It was not, oh man, this is a boring game. So it was an entertaining game all the way through, but Eagles moved to 11-5 now with the win. Can get their 12th win next week in a meaningless game, I guess you could say, against Washington. They have some tickets available, so if you're looking for tickets to the game, hit me up and let me know. But it is time to vote for the GOAT of the game, and I think you had to go somebody on defense here. Jalen Carter, Zach Vaughn, Cooper DeJean, Jalix Hunt, all four of those guys played outstanding. If I had to go, I'm going Jalen Carter. But hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. Who's your go to the game? Give me your thoughts on this team. Are you concerned with the way the play calling was in the second half? I think you have to be in light of what has gone down this season. But for go to the game, I'm going Jalen Carter. Who do you got? Shout out to Scott from Ben Salem, who already, after the game, hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line and said, I'm going Jalen Carter. He is a menace. He's going to be a problem. And I agree. I mean, a healthy Jalen Carter, I mean, he had a blocked extra point, which proved to be the difference in the game. So that's who I'm going with. But who do you got for go to the game? Hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. Get that anything else Philly sports related off of your chest, because it was a busy weekend. And let's go to the Sixers, who lost both games on this road trip. 109-102 to the Bulls. Faltered in the fourth quarter, man. It was a fun game to watch, but we might have Joel Embiid being a defensive liability. The Bulls attacked him, and he just could not move in that fourth quarter, and that really proved to be the difference. He did score 31 points, but he was a liability out there. Lots to think about if you're the Sixers, but they were in the game, and like that, I guess that's the main thing with a young team like this, or a team trying to figure out its identity. They're in the games. Paul George was solid and hit some big shots there in the fourth quarter. Maxey had 27, but struggled. But really, the story for me was Joe just being attacked and not being able to do anything. We're not used to seeing that from Joe. And then yesterday, no Joe, but it was a 129-104 loss to Oklahoma City. No harm in losing this game. They were in it until they just fell apart in the third quarter. They were down 2 at the half and just got ran out of the gym in the third quarter. Tyrese Maxey had 28. Did not help that the Thunder shot the lights out. I think they were like 57, 58% shooting. They're the defending champs for a reason, though. So I guess that's a good measuring stick game to see where you are with them. But Sixers lose both games over the weekend. Faltered in the fourth quarter on Friday night. Faltered in the third quarter last night, or I guess yesterday afternoon. But they continue this road trip tomorrow out in Memphis. But again, they were fun games to watch. Flyers, if you were asleep last night like I was, lost to the Kraken 4-1, starting their post-holiday break West Coast trip. Came out sluggish and just were outplayed by Seattle. They avoided the shutout with a late goal, but 4-1, Flyers just not good. I believe they're in Vancouver tomorrow. They're in one of the Vancouver or Calgary, somewhere on that West Coast swing. So hopefully they're able to bounce back in that game. We do have some Phillies news. And this is one of those stories that was kind of lost in everything over the weekend. You may have seen this, but Bryce Harper posted an Instagram post of himself working out in the cage with a t-shirt that read, quote, "Not elite." Obviously taking a shot there at Dave Dombrowski. And look, I'm just going to say, if that hurt your feelings, Bryce, okay. Nothing that, excuse me, nothing that Dombrowski said was wrong. And I mean, what are we? You're that soft? But I will say this. If that's what it's going to take to motivate Bryce to snap out of his thing and have an elite season, hey, man, more power to you. Use it as a slight. Wear your shirt. Sell it. Make some money off of it, because I'm sure people out there will buy it. But nothing that was said was out of line. You have not played elite. But if you're going to use that as your motivation, we talk every Tuesday. We do motivation and positivity on this podcast. If that's going to motivate you, you wear your shirt, man. You wear a non-elite shirt every day until spring training, all through spring training. Whatever you need to do, sign me up. What happened this weekend in Philly sports history? Let's go back to December 27th. And first, we're going to go back to 1987. And the Eagles beat the Buffalo Bills 17-7 on December 27th, 1987. Reggie White had 2 sacks, number 20 and 21 on the season, setting the Eagles team record, and did so in 12 games. Think about that. 21 sacks in 12 games. Everybody's talking about Myles Garrett chasing this record. He's doing it, or trying to attempt to do it, in his 17th game. Reggie had 21 in 12 games. Let that sink in if you don't believe Reggie is one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant, defensive player ever. And then we're going to go to 1988. Eagles lose to the Giants 20-10, unofficially ending the Ray Rhodes era. Ray would be fired the next day, opening the door for Andy Reid to be hired and completely changing the trajectory of this team. And then in 2003, Eagles beat Washington 31-7, clinch a first-round bye, but it comes at a cost as Brian Westbrook is lost for the rest of the season with a torn triceps. Ironically, he was tackled on the play that he got injured by former Eagle Jeremiah Trotter. And then on December 28th, 2010, little Tuesday night football action due to a snowstorm that was supposed to hammer the Philadelphia area. The NFL decided to postpone this game from Sunday night to Tuesday night. At game time, there was only 5 inches of snow, so it would have been very easy to travel. At the end of the snowstorm, though, there was about a foot of snow, but postponed it till Tuesday night. And, of course, the first ever Tuesday night game in a long time in NFL history. Eagles lose to the Vikings 24-14. This was the Joe Webb game, 195 yards and a rushing touchdown. Adrian Peterson took belt to ass. That might be a poor quote. If you know, you know. With 118 yards and a touchdown. But the Eagles lose to Joe Webb and the Vikings on this day in 2010. And then in 2008, the Eagles' playoff hopes were hanging by a thread. They needed the 7-8 Houston Texans to beat the 9-6 Chicago Bears and the 5-10 Oakland Raiders to beat the 9-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers to even have a shot before the game started. They did. We all walked in, and then the Eagles proceeded to beat the Cowboys 44-6, punctuated by a 96-yard Yoselio Hansen fumble return. Eagles win the division, make the playoffs, and go on that improbable run to the NFC Championship game. But that's what happened this weekend. That's Rewind the Weekend, brought to you, as always, by Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. Now let's knock out a little bit of housekeeping real quick. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. Like, subscribe, leave a review, comment, all of that other good stuff helps us out. And continue to spread the word. If you're enjoying this, pretty sure someone in your network will as well. As a reminder, the rest of this week, we will be a little bit later, just due to me catching up on some sleep that has been lacking over the past few weeks. But we'll be out will be a little bit later, and we will be here on New Year's Day. And this January, our special segment for the entire month is going to be a lot of people on New Year's say we're turning the page and starting fresh. We're going to take a look at times in Philly sports history where the years that we've turned the page and had major impact on the future of Philly sports. So we're turning the page in January, the biggest years that we've turned the page and things started to change either for the better or for the worse in Philly sports. So stay tuned for that starting on Thursday. And then Friday's trivia question, I asked you, who was the Eagles' non-kicking single season scoring leader? That would be LaShawn McCoy in 2011. Had like 17 touchdowns. Everybody else ahead of him is a kicker. This Day in Philly Sports History is proud to be a part of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network, where passionate fans make powerful content. Check out theclashingconferences.com and join the squad today. All right, December 29th. First, we're going to go back to 1961. And on this day in 1961, the Warriors beat the Lakers 123-118 out in Hershey. Wilt was doing Wilt things as he usually does. Just another ho-hum, 60 points, 26 rebound game. This probably would be today talked about like, what an amazing performance. But for Wilt, and that season in particular, it was just kind of another day at the office. But Warriors beat the Lakers 123-118 in Hershey. Wilt going for 60 points and 26 rebounds. In 1992, Flyers got down 2-0 early to the Kings, but then Rod Brind'Amour led them back, scoring 3 goals, having 3 assists for his first career hat trick, 6 points in the game for Rod. Brett Fedek had 2 goals and 2 assists. Tommy Soderstrom really settled in after a rough start to the game, saving 42 shots on the night as the Flyers beat the Kings 10-2, led by Rod Brind'Amour with 3 goals, 3 assists after falling down 2-0 to the Kings. 7 years later, in 1999, Sixers beat the Warriors 97-94. Allen Iverson with 34 points. Larry Brown getting his 700th career win, becoming the 11th coach to do so. We just talked last week about him getting win number 800, but a couple years prior to that, it was win number 700 as the Sixers beat the Warriors behind AI's 34 points. 10 years later, hell officially froze over for me. Temple was playing in their first bowl game in 30 years down in Washington, D.C. at old RFK Stadium. The Eagle Bank Bowl. Took the trip down there and saw them lose to the UCLA Bruins 30-21, a game that they actually led at halftime and had some shots there in this game to win. But to go down there, see the Owls play in a bowl game, something I never thought in a million years I would do. Thank you, Al Golden. Had a good conversation with him the next morning. Kind of knew at that point, just the reading the tea leaves, that he wasn't going to be around too much longer. And sure enough, 2 years later, he left. But the Temple Owls played in their first bowl game in 30 years on this day. The Eagle Bank Bowl down at RFK Stadium. Had good seats. It was cold, but it was fun to see my Owls in a bowl game. And then in 2013, the NFC East title was on the line in a de facto championship game down in Dallas. Nick Foles threw for 263 yards and 2 touchdowns. LaShawn McCoy ran for 131. That was enough to win the NFL rushing title. First time an Eagle won the rushing title since 1949. Also set the Eagles' single-season rushing yardage record, which would later be broken by Saquon Barkley last year. Nick Foles also won the NFL passing title with a 119.2 passer rating. But at the end of the day, it was Brandon Boykin sealing it with an interception with under 2 minutes left as the Eagles beat the Cowboys 24-22 to win the NFC East in Chip Kelly's first year as coach. And then fast forward 2 years later, the news was not as good for Chip Kelly as he was fired with 1 game left in the season after he gutted the Eagles offense and got rid of everybody, threw Howie Roseman in a closet, Jeffrey Lurie was like, I've seen enough, Chip. I've seen enough. Fired him with 1 game left in the season. So it went from penthouse to outhouse in a matter of 2 years for Chip Kelly. And that does lead us to today's trivia question. Final game of the 2015 season. Who coached the Eagles for the fired Chip Kelly? Hit me up on the Discord channel, which is the first link in the description, or the Back to the Future voice and text line. But who coached the Eagles for the final game in the 2015 season after Chip Kelly was fired? 2 years before that, it was everybody loved Chip Kelly as they went down to Dallas, beat the Cowboys 24-22 to win the NFC East. 2009, Temple played in a bowl game for the first time in 30 years, first time in my time as a Temple Owls football fan. One of the highlights of my fandom. 1999, Sixers beat the Warriors 97-94. Larry Brown becomes the 11th coach to win 700 games in the NBA. Rod Brindamore led the Flyers back to a 10-2 win over the Kings in 1992. 3 goals, 3 assists after the Flyers got down 2-0. And Wilt, 60-26. Just another day at the office for Wilt. Don't forget to let me know who your go to the game is. I'm going Jalen Carter. I don't think you can go anywhere else with that. You certainly can make an argument for Coop, Bond, even Jalix Hunt, but he's back. You got to go with Jalen Carter on this. So hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. Get any Philly sports related thoughts off of your chest, and let's have a conversation here on a Victory Monday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for December 29th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Monday. And until next time, go Birds.